The Galactic Council was tired of dealing with us. For years, they had belittled us, issued commands, and believed they could bring us to heel. They thought they could make us submit. But we have never been a species that bows. And now, their patience had run out. They were preparing to wipe us out. The Galactic Council assembled one of the most powerful war fleets in the universe. Massive warships targeted human colonies, and they gave us an ultimatum: surrender or be annihilated. Earth's response was short and clear: don't come. You'll regret it. We bow to no one. But they didn't take us seriously. No one ever does. Because everyone saw humans as a primitive species. They expected us to live in peace, kneeling in the shadow of the stronger races. But that was their biggest mistake. They underestimated us. And now, we would show them just how grave that mistake was. The Council's most powerful war fleet advanced to invade human colonies. To them, this was just another conquest, quick, clean, and with no resistance. But they had failed to account for one thing: we were already prepared. As the Council's ultra-high-tech and highly dangerous warships approached Earth, they entered our atmosphere without resistance. No warning shots, no defensive maneuvers. It seemed as though we really were surrendering. But what they couldn't see was the hell hidden within the blue clouds of our orbit. As enemy ships closed in on our cities, every news network broadcast the same message: Operation Sky Shadow active. And at that moment, the sky ignited. Thousands of invisible combat drones had already infiltrated the enemy ships, sabotaging their systems before they even entered the atmosphere. Their engines failed. Their weapons went silent. In an instant, the mightiest warships became nothing more than floating metal coffins. But this was only the beginning. Now, it was time for revenge. The Council's ships drifted in the sky, systems dead. Just minutes ago, they were powerful war machines. Now, they were slowly dying. At that moment, one of the enemy leaders sent a transmission to Aegis 1 control station. We surrender. The face of the Council's admiral appeared on every screen on Earth. His expression was tense, his voice cold but trembling. This was a misunderstanding. We wish to make peace with humanity. Release our ships, and we will retreat. A heavy silence filled the command center. Every news outlet, every high-ranking general, and even millions of civilians debated the situation. But the truth was, no one trusted them. This wasn't the first day of the war. We knew how many times they had used surrender as a trick to assassinate, invade, and bomb cities. A debate erupted in the command room. The general argued that we should stop the attack. If they are surrendering, we should give them a chance. The captain was convinced this was a ruse. Letting them go is the same as handing Earth over on a silver platter. Another option was to test the enemy's intentions. Give them an offer. If they truly want peace, they must completely disable their weapons and abandon their ships. A brief but intense silence followed. General Hayes took a deep breath and stared at the war map. Cease fire. Some lifted their heads in surprise. Others crossed their arms and grumbled. Captain Renko slammed his fist on the table. Are we really going to let them make fools of us? Hayes narrowed his eyes. If they are truly surrendering and we destroy them, the entire galaxy will see us as barbarians. We must test the possibility of peace. He pressed a button, sending a ceasefire order to all frontline units. Humanity had made the first move. The enemy admiral sent back a short response acknowledging our decision. We have received your decision. We are now disabling our weapons. Really? On every screen, the energy signatures of the Council's massive warships began to drop. Their weapon systems shut down. Their engines lost power. But Renko was still skeptical. This could be a show. Maybe they're just lowering energy levels and hiding. General Hayes clenched his jaw. There's only one way to find out. We will send a human team aboard the enemy ships to confirm whether they have truly surrendered." After a brief silence, General Hayes nodded. "Deploy the special unit. If it's a trap, we won't be caught off guard." Captain Renko moved immediately. "Prepare Black Talon Squad. Full combat gear." Within minutes, the Special Forces team boarded an armored landing craft. The squad leader, Major Cole, adjusted his helmet and addressed his team. "We're going in, assessing the situation. If this is a trap, we pull the trigger first. All right, let's move." A small stealth ship silently passed through enemy lines. No weapons were locked onto it. Had they truly surrendered? The Black Talon team docked onto the Sovereign Dawn, the largest warship of the Council fleet. The airlock opened. The entire team stepped inside in absolute silence. Inside was empty. The massive corridors of the ship had no soldiers, no crew. Major Cole whispered into his comms, "Something is wrong here." But the real question was, why was no one there? Cole raised his hand, signaling his team. "We're moving to the main computer room. Stay alert." They advanced with quiet, calculated steps. The only sound echoing through the ship's corridors was their own breathing. The ship looked abandoned, but their instincts told them otherwise. They opened the door. Inside were massive screens and holographic panels. Most were damaged, but some were still functional. Sergeant Miller quickly connected to the systems. "I found the logs," he said, pressing a button. The screen showed the Council crew and soldiers in a state of panic. They had all gathered in the control room. Then a high-pitched scream rang out. One by one, the people in the footage vanished. As if lifted by an invisible force, they were snatched into the air and suddenly disappeared. No blood, no bodies, only silence. One of the team members whispered, "What the hell?" In the final moments of the footage, a Council officer stepped up to the screen, his eyes wide with terror. He whispered, "It sees us. Get out of here." And then, the feed cut to static. At that exact moment, the ship's lights went out. A faint static noise crackled in their radios, followed by a mechanical whisper. "I see you." They were not alone. Major Cole took a deep breath. "No retreat. We find out what happened here." "Miller, pull up a full map of the ship. Everyone check your weapons. We move forward." Their footsteps echoed against the ship's cold metal floors. The corridors were empty. But something felt wrong. A faint noise echoed. A whisper? Or just the ventilation system? Miller, staring at the screen, muttered, "This is impossible." Cole frowned. "What is?" The answer lay in the ship's biometric logs. The crew's biometric signatures were still in the system. Names, ranks, living quarters. It was all there. But there was a problem. This ship had a crew of 462 people. The system still detected 462 active life signs. But there was no one here. They had all vanished. Yet somehow, they were still here. And then they saw it. At the end of the corridor, the command center doors were open. Inside, shadows moved. They were not human. We drew our weapons and moved. Cole raised his hand, signaling silence. They aimed their weapons and advanced toward the command center. Their footsteps echoed. The shadows stood still. Miller swallowed. "God, are they human?" Cole's voice was firm. "We'll find out. Let's try to make contact. This is the USS Valkyrie team. We don't want to harm anyone. Identify yourselves." Silence. The silhouettes did not move, but there was a feeling, as if they were watching. Then one of them spoke. "You do not belong here." The voice came through radio frequencies from a figure in the command center, a figure with no face. And then they moved, fast, unnatural, gliding toward them. "Open fire!" Cole roared. Gunfire erupted. Bullets tore through the shadows. But they did nothing. The figures did not flinch. No blood. It was like shooting into smoke. Miller cursed. "They're not human. They're trying to kill us." One of them appeared right in front of Cole. Before he could react, it placed a hand on his chest. And suddenly, his entire body seized up. A black energy seeped from him. Cole couldn't even scream before dropping to his knees. And then, his body fell. But there was still a Cole standing. His eyes were hollow. His face was empty. Miller took a step back. "Commander?" The new Cole tilted his head. "You are not in command. We are." Miller hesitated, but the emptiness in Cole's eyes made him move. They ran. They sprinted through the corridors, shadows closing in behind them. I shined my flashlight along the walls, strange rusted panels covered in unknown markings. I turned, and my stomach dropped. Cole and the others weren't chasing us anymore. They had become the shadows. Miller cursed. "Where are we going? We're trapped." Just then, a massive door appeared before us. Strange symbols glowed across its surface. "Open it," I yelled, pressing my palm to the glowing symbols. A deep thoom echoed. The heavy metal door slid open. Miller dove inside, just as the shadows nearly overtook us. We stumbled in, and the door slammed shut behind us. Inside was something entirely different. A ship sat in the center of the room. Old, but powerful. On its console, human language warnings blinked. Emergency mode activated. Miller, panting, looked around. "Can we use this?" I grinned. Only one way to find out. My hands moved over the controls. The ship responded. Lights flickered on. The engines let out a low hum. It recognized us. Outside, the creatures pounded on the door. "Come on, come on, come on!" Data flashed across the screens. Then a final message appeared. "Built for humanity. Engage." Suddenly the ceiling opened up. We looked up and our breath caught. The stars. A vast, endless sky. Miller squinted. "If we leave, can we come back?" I smirked. Only one way to find out. The engines roared to life. The ship lifted off. And at last, we were free.